Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. We are 50 hours in to our silence retreat. Many of the seekers that we're seeing through Zoom, particularly, are in our silence retreat. We all have 14 more hours of silence to practice. I was sharing with them this morning during our contemplation. If one logically reflects on existence, existence can't change. Existence can't move. And so existence doesn't make any sound. That which exists, like this coat in my arm and the back of my hand, that makes noise. It exists. But the existence can't make sound, doesn't make sound. Existence is of the nature of silence. I share this with all of us because though 36 seekers are in a silence retreat for 64 hours, Meaningful Mornings is a culture to understand what existence is so that we come to appreciate silence. In Bhagavad Gita's chapter 14, it is stunning how much content has been shared in less than 20 verses. These are a dense, brilliant section of verses. So I'm clear with everyone about how systematic these gunas are, how we are often stuck in the cycle of gunas. I'm resharing what I shared yesterday. In verses 14 and 15, Sri Krishna is sharing how the gunas cause a field, what we will be reborn into. In this field, we will act, and so there will be results. Those teachings come in verse 16. As we go about experiencing these results, they're comprising our unconscious, our varna. That's shared in verse 17. And naturally, our unconscious expresses in our subconscious. That's shared in 18. The chart once again. For those who are investing in sattva, the field will be amala, the result will be nirmala, the unconscious will be jnana, the subconscious. What you will feel here and now is urdhva, that you are rising. For those who are living by raja or aggressiveness, the field will be karma, the result will be dukkha, the unconscious will be lobha, the subconscious will be madhya. You won't change. Who you were yesterday is the same as who you are today, which will be the same as who you will be tomorrow. For those who are investing in tama or laziness, The field is mudha. One will be like an animal, like a plant, like a stone. The result, ajnana. This will create the unconscious, which is pramada. And this will be felt in the subconscious as adha. One is falling. And you see how the subconscious will filter into this cycle of unconscious, results, field, results, unconscious, subconscious. To change this cycle, to break out of this cycle, you have to know who you are, relatively and absolutely. Relatively, a way to know who you are is practicing swadhyaya, dating yourself. What I've shared with many seekers is at the end of the day, before you turn off the last light in your room, in a wonderful journal of a high quality, on the right-hand side of this journal, write down, what did this day mean to you? What did you learn about life? What did you learn about yourself particularly? In verse 19, Shri Krishna shares an insight on how to be free of this cycle. I'm reading 3 beautiful teachings from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda. The spirit identifying itself with, and therefore riding on the mind-intellect equipment, dances to the moods of the mind determined by the 3 gunas. To stand apart from the mind by ending all our identifications with it is to get complete freedom from the thraldom of our thought entanglement. When the seer beholds, this art of disentangling ourselves from our own thought processes within is the very art of meditation. He is the subject that perceives through us, that feels in us, that thinks with us. But here the word behold is used only to indicate that the subjective experience shall be so total, so complete, and so convincing as when we have actually seen an object. Why I've read these 3 teachings is because the word veti is used. Veti means to know. And I've shared, we all know this, but we don't feel this. A way to grow out of knowing and into feeling is start by intellectually knowing you are more than the gunas. For us, that's checked off. Next is to internally know. Through your own reflection, it's almost like it's part intellectual, part feeling. Invest more by contemplating on this chapter, these verses, this verse, so that you intensely know. The way you intensely know that this is your body, for you to intensely know that this is not your body. Intellectually knowing is not enough. One has to internally know this, intensely know this. Shri Krishna shares more insights about the Atita, the one who's past gunas, maya, and so on. Verse 20. Gunan etan atitya trin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhaihi vimukto mritam ashnute. Joy. Gunan, the gunas, etan, these gunas, Treen, which are three in number. Notice three in Sanskrit becomes three in English. Atitya, the one who is not conditioned by the gunas or qualities. This is how Sri Krishna is introducing this verse. This is how they are intellectually, but what is their feeling? For us to even get to this intellectually, I'd shared. The one who's filled with laziness has no cue, no intelligence, either secular or sacred. The one who's rajasic, they invest in IQ, their intellectual quotient, how to have more pleasure, possession, position. The one who's investing in quietness, they're developing their EQ, their emotional intelligence, to have a quiet mind so that they can actually enjoy pleasure, possession, position. But this one who's atita, they know there's more than EQ. They have a SQ, intelligence about the spirit. Dehi, the one who's contained in a body, deha samudbhavan, from this being that is in a body, this body is born. This is the translation. The implication is the gunas, they cause creation. Creation of the body, creation of the day. These gunas are an expression of dehi, meaning the ego. Sharing this differently, the gunas apply to creatures, to creation. They apply to Vivek, they apply to Vivek's world. The gunas don't apply to the creator. That's why we use the word Mayapati. Mayapati or divinity is not samudbhavam, is not born from Maya. This also doesn't apply to consciousness or infinity. So Shri Krishna is sharing the one who is transcended, his divinity, his infinity. Janma, birth, mrityu, death, jara, the transition from birth to death or aging. What is it filled with? Dukkha, filled with stress, anxiety, dejection. This phrase we have come across before. Does anyone want to guess what chapter? And even better is which verse? Chapter 13. Good guess with chapter 2. That's your default. Chapter 13, verse 8. Shri Krishna highlights the quality of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshana. I know you remember that. And we shared this in one English word, which is reflectiveness. The one who's reflective knows that there is sorrow, dukkha, in being born. Because if you're born, you're going to age, you're going to die. Putting this even more directly, if guna, then dukkha. Even with sattva, it is a quality which means one will be one will be janma, will be born into a condition. Finally, vimukta amritam ashnute, the one who knows that they're not the ego, and so is not affected by the gunas, which express as birth and death and aging, that person has tasted, that person has realized amritam, that they are not born, which means they're not conditioned, vimukta, they are independent. These verses, our silence retreat is teaching us to disidentify. Disidentify. Disidentification is delight. If you identified with your clothes as they were in the wash, you would feel like you're drowning. But you disidentify with your clothes when they're in the wash. Can you train yourself to disidentify from all that you're not? All of these coverings. If you can, you too will be free. A lot about those who are not free comes out in chapter 16. A lot about those who are free comes out in chapter 15. And Sri Krishna is now planting the seed for the forthcoming verses, which describe not guna, but gunatita, the one who is free from creatures, creation, even creator, the one who is infinite. From inspiration to application, your application yesterday was to come up with the second step in sadhana if you find yourself being busy. What have you come up with? What is the second step in this sequence? The first is to listen more. You're sharing stop, chant, to reflect. Yes, yes, yes. Too far in this sequence, though. What I would suggest is sleep early. Step 2 is sleep early. When you sleep early, you're able to prioritize your day better. So you don't feel busy, you feel engaged. Your application for this morning, and I hope you'll do this. We're in chapter 14. We're about to finish chapter 14. I want you to write out 14 ways that you live in an expensive manner. 14 ways that you live in an expensive manner, which is forcing you to work for this expensive lifestyle. 14 ways that because of your lifestyle, you have to work, and this work is consuming you, so you're busy and not engaged in sadhana. Shanti, shanti, shantihi, be joy.